Students, now listen the story in detail. What has happened in the chapter when the author Louis Fisher met Mahatma Gandhi in 1942 in his ashram in Sevagram. Gandhi told him how he was instrumental in laying the foundation of the departure of British from India in 1917. When Mahatma Gandhi attended an annual convention of the Indian National Congress in December 1916 in Lucknow, he was met by a poor peasant called Rajkumar Shukla from Champaran, who had come to complain about the injustice of the landlord in Bihar. He resolutely followed Mahatma Gandhi to Kanpur and elsewhere, and even to Gandhiji's ashram in Sevagram in Ahmedabad, and finally to Kolkata, from where he took Gandhi to Champaran. However, before reaching Champaran, Rajkumar Shukla took Mahatma Gandhi to meet Rajendra Prasad in Patna. Unable to meet him since he was out, Gandhiji decided to stop over at Muzaffarpur to gain more information about the conditions in Champaran than what Rajkumar Shukla knew. He met J.B. Kriplani in Muzaffarpur and stayed with Professor Malkani, a teacher in a government school. Once the news of Gandhiji's arrival and his intentions spread, sharecroppers and Muzaffarpur lawyers thronged to inform him about their problems. The lawyers told Mahatma Gandhi about the cases they represented and the fee they charged from these peasants. Mahatma Gandhi was annoyed for charging the peasants exorbitantly, especially when they were in fear, and it was useless to fight the case. The problem the sharecroppers faced was that most of the arable land in Champaran was owned by the Englishman, cultivated by Indian tenants. The main commercial crop grown was indigo. The landlords compelled all the tenants to plant 15% of their holdings with indigo and surrender the entire indigo harvest as a rent by a long-term contract. However, synthetic indigo had been discovered by Germany, and the British landlords began asking the sharecroppers to compensate them to be released from the 15% agreement, which was opposed by the sharecroppers. Some peasants who had signed the agreement now wanted a refund. This is when Mahatma Gandhi arrived. He first visited the secretary of the British Landlords Association and then the British official commissioner of the Tirhut division, but received no information or support on grounds of being an outsider. Next, Mahatma Gandhi went to Motihari, where he set up base and collected more information. On getting to know about the ill treatment of a peasant in a close by village, Gandhi set out on an elephant to see him. However, the police superintendent's messenger ordered him to return to town, which Mahatma Gandhi complied with. He was then served an official notice to leave Champaran, which he refused in writing. As a consequence, Gandhi was asked to appear in court the following day. He telegraphed Rajendra Prasad to come with some influential friends, informed the Viceroy and his ashram. The next day, the courthouse swarmed with thousands of demonstrating peasants, which became a law and order problem. The British were given a concrete proof that even their might could be challenged. The prosecution asked the judge to postpone the trial as they wanted to consult their superiors. Gandhi protested against the delay and pleaded guilty of a conflict of duties and asked for the penalty due. The magistrate announced a 2-hour recess and asked Mahatma Gandhi to furnish a bail for those 120 minutes, which Mahatma Gandhi refused, and thus the judge released him and did not pronounce the judgment for several days. Meanwhile, senior lawyers like Rajendra Prasad, Brij Kishore Babu, Maulana Mazharul Haq and others decided to leave if Mahatma Gandhi was jailed. On Mahatma Gandhi's questioning about what would happen to the sharecroppers' fate in such an eventuality, they decided to continue to fight for the peasants. A few days later, the case against Mahatma Gandhi was dropped. Civil disobedience had triumphed, but Gandhi continued to conduct inquiries into the grievances of the farmers and collected documents, etc., as evidence. As a result of this unrest, an inquiry into the indigo sharecropper situation was ordered by the governor, which found crushing evidence against the big planters. The planters agreed to make 25% refund of the money they had illegally collected from the sharecroppers. This defeat made several planters had to abandon their estates, and which reverted back to the peasants, and indigo sharecropping disappeared. This was not the end to Mahatma Gandhi's political and economic solutions. He saw the backwardness of Champaran and decided to improve the situation. He invited several young teachers to teach there. His own son Devdas, along with Kasturba Gandhi, also arrived to help. Primary schools were opened. Habits in personal hygiene and community sanitation were taught. Services of doctors were sought, and medicines like castor oil, quinine, and sulfur ointment were made available. Women were taught to maintain cleanliness. At the same time, Mahatma Gandhi remained in touch with his ashram. Earlier in Champaran episode, Charles Frere Andrews, an English pacifist, wished to help Gandhi in the movement, but Gandhi refused, as he felt that Indians should rely upon themselves to win the battle. Thus, Mahatma Gandhi taught the Indians a lesson in self-reliance and Indian independence, which were all bound together with the help to the sharecroppers. So this is what the story is. We will read the chapter line wise.